Let's welcome in our morning guest. Vijay Chopra is with us. Ashish Chaturmoha is also joining us, and soon we'll be joined by Sameet Chavan of Angel Broking. Vijay, let me come to you first. In terms of the picks going into the budget, what would you keep your what would be your recommendations?
Well, I would like to recommend few stocks today. These are irrespective of the budget. But yes, there are a few budget picks as well. Number one, I like Britannia. The way the stock has moved up, I think that there is still a lot of steam left. My short to medium term target for Britannia is 3,300. Although I would recommend stop loss of 3,050 on the stock. The second call I would like to give is SREI Infra. One that they're raising money through NCDs. Secondly, I suppose that in the budget there's going to be a lot of focus on the infra spend. So SREI could get a boost because it is into infrastructure financing, and SREI would be a direct beneficiary of such initiatives by the government. The stock closed at 89 rupees yesterday, so it could be bought for a target of 95, and a stop loss of 84 is recommended on the stock. My next call would be Bajaj Finance. On the basis of the good results the company has posted, fantastic numbers, good profitability, I think there should be some upside in the stock from here. The stock closed at 1054 yesterday, and it could be bought for a target of 1080, and a stop loss of 1020 is recommended on the stock. I would also like to mention here that there are few stories which I think can do well. The defense stories, especially VEL, BEML, look good. The tourism stories, there are companies like Indian Travel House and ITDC. These companies should do good. Fertilizer stories again look good to me. Stocks like RCF, NFL, these stocks should show a serious upside in the coming few months.
Right. Ashish, what are your calls?
Good morning, Pankaj. So, first of all, in a shorter term, I think now, since we have been recommending a lot of long positions, I think ideally now booking some profits in most of these positions will make sense at this point of time, because there will be a lot of volatility ahead of budget, and I think we will get an opportunity to re-enter, the positions which we earlier recommended. So, I would like to take names of the stocks and, wait for a dip, maybe around 2-3% lower levels. Ideally, this stock should be initiated as a long call. So, I think my first pick would be a long idea on Petronet. Now, looking into the chart pattern, this stock is continuously making a continuous higher top, higher bottom formation. On a weekly and a monthly chart, the stock has again given a fresh breakout after consolidating for last couple of weeks. So, I think this is one stock where I think one can expect a target of 420, 430 levels. Ideally, the long should be initiated somewhere around 378, 380 zone, and around those levels, one can start accumulating the stock. On downside, 365 should be kept as a trading stop loss for an upside target of 420, 430 levels. My second pick would be a long idea on Suzlon. Again, if you look at Suzlon, this is on the weekly and the monthly chart, this stock has formed a very strong base around 15 levels, and from there it has been continuously making highs with a very strong volume as well as delivery participation. So that clearly indicates that there is a lot of buying interest in the stock. One should ideally buy the stock in a range around 1550 to 16 levels. Keep a stop below 15 levels, and on upside, I think this stock has a potential to test 22, 23 kind of levels on upside. My third pick would be a long idea on Bajaj Finance. Again, a major breakout on the weekly and the monthly charts. Stock has already given a strong returns in last couple of weeks, but I think on dips this stock should be bought around 1000 odd levels. Keep a stop below 950, and upside can expect a target of 1100, 1150 odd levels.
Sameet Chavan is also now joining us. Sameet, what are your calls?
Yeah, Pankaj, we would like to maintain our optimistic stance on the market, and thus we have all three long recommendations. First one would be on Avan Offshore. Last week we saw a decisive breakout from a trend line resistance of 245, 246. However, since then the stock has been consolidating in a range, but we would expect the stock to bounce back from its decent support level of 245, 246. Thus, one can buy Aban with a stop loss of 244, target 275. In this case, stop loss can be placed on a closing basis. Second buy would be on Petronet LNG. On Friday, the stock has managed to give a decisive breakout from a triangular pattern with a substantial rise in volume. Yesterday, we saw a minor dip from higher levels, but we would interpret this as a very good buying opportunity. We maintain our target of 415. Stop loss would be around 373, and our final call would be a buy call on Lupin. Yes, this stock has been consolidating in a narrow range since last few months. However, on Friday we saw a good price traction in this counter with a rise in volumes. Thus, we are expecting a breakout quite soon from a resistance of 1530, 1535. So, with an anticipation of this breakout, we recommend this stock for a target of 1636. Stop loss would be around 1468.
Some of the companies would also be reacting to their numbers, and one such company will be Tech Mahindra. Very good set of numbers. They delivered numbers just as markets was closing, so at 328. But that time you did not have the proper numbers. The final detail, what are the various details within different matrices came post market hours.
Checked. So we're counting down to market opening. Vijay, what do you make of TechM, the earnings posted by this IT major? I think second quarter we've seen a strong performance coming in and the management is sounding very upbeat, unlike what the other bigger IT companies are talking. What do you make of TechM's earnings?
Well, I think that it's a good set of numbers they put in. So we can see a positive reaction of the stock. We saw that yesterday as well. Now, there are a couple of things, perspectives which I want to put forth. One, that the kind of commentary we are getting from US regarding the visas and the outsourcing business, and Trump's strong stance on how international companies or offshore companies can work in US and giving jobs to the US citizens. So these are certain things which are going to rattle the IT companies in the short term. But I think that with the Digital India drive, there's going to be a lot of domestic business which would be generated in the next few years, and I think mid-cap companies are going to be beneficiaries because they have the capability, and Tech Mahindra definitely is a big name in the IT arena. So probably we can see some jitteriness in the short term in all the IT counters, including Tech Mahindra. But I think that once the dust settles down a couple of quarters down the line, these companies will come back sharply, and they will find out new pastures for their business. So for today, yes, there could be a positive for the stock. The stock probably could hit 480, 490 odd levels. But yes, in the short term, given the kind of commentary we're getting from US, there could be some pain for the IT companies.
Right. Vijay, just 40 seconds before markets open, a quick word on Idea and Bharti. Do you think they become a buy on decline sector now?
Well, in the short term, yes. But in the long term, there's going to be a lot of cash outflow from the balance sheets, and I've been iterating since last 6 months that Jio's entry would definitely put a dent on the balance sheets of telecom companies. But yes, the short term trend looks positive.
Right, just about 5-10 seconds remaining for markets to open. We'll wait for what happens to Idea, Bharti. Remember, they were the stock of the day yesterday. Tech Mahindra, as Anisha and Vijay were just discussing, will also be in focus. They have declared their numbers. A lot of other companies declare numbers today. So there you go with the first trades on your screen. Nifty is 8 points down. Sensex is up about 18 odd points. Idea is up 3% at about 100 rupees right from the word go. Remember, I think 100 was the high yesterday as well. It's the top gainer on the Nifty pack. 99.9 for Idea right now, 99.6 as we are speaking. Bharti is absolutely flat. There is no major change on Bharti. So 345, 346, that's where Bharti Airtel is, but 57,000 shares traded. Tech Mahindra, that's a results reaction. It's up close to 1%, 476 for Tech Mahindra, 1.5 lakh shares traded. Shree Cements, again a results reaction, but just look at the volumes. It's not really picking up. It's not really quite good. So that's not something which one can take a cue from. V-Guard is up close to 6%, 205, 206 for V-Guard. Dish TV is down 3%. 3% as expected. So Dish TV was expected to go on the lower side. Keytex Garment is up 7%. After 2 quarters, they have surprised the street, and that's why it's up close to about 7.6 odd percent. Let's look at Pfizer as well. Flat numbers, but really no change. About 1% or so here and there. 1780 for Pfizer. That's a name, just not doing anything. Dalmia Bharat, 85,000 shares in terms. Dalmia Sugar, sorry, not Dalmia Bharat. Dalmia Sugar up about 4%. 95,000 shares traded for Bharti. So that's up about 3%. NCL India is flat with a negative bias. 96, 97 for that name. It's stocks in news today. They have a board meet, so probably the street would be looking for some cues on buyback. Emphasis, similar story, 577. They have a new CEO as well. Dilip Buildcon absolutely flat. There is some news flow regarding order that they have, so that's something that is absolutely flat. It's clearly no change right now. Hindalco on your screen is down about 0.5. Bharti Infratel is down about 1.4%. GAIL is down 1.9. Bharti Airtel is now slowly starting to go up. Anisha, any names that you can pick up?
Well, some of the PSU names seem to be facing some pressure today. So we have Power Finance Corporation, RDC, GAIL, all of these are in the red today, and which is why we are seeing the CPSE, Goldman Sachs, MF, ETF, the CPSE ETF also down quite significantly. So a number of these PSU stocks are weak today. We've got Mercator down about 1%. We have Tata Motors and Grasim also seeing a significant amount of profit taking today, and they're among the losers today. On the gaining side, you have mentioned V-Guard and Dalmia Bharat Sugar. We are seeing some action in MRPL, that's up about 3%, and the second rung telecom names like MTNL and RCom, they're also seeing action today, perhaps on the view that the perspective for the entire telecom sector can change should there be some consolidation coming in. Ashish, what's your view on the PFC, RDC names? These counters have done well in this rally. Do you think they will just pause now? Is this a good opportunity for those looking to buy these stocks?
Yeah, I think so, because if you look at most of the stocks are trading at a 52-week high after a very strong consolidation, and I think this breakout which has happened in most of the stocks like REC, PFC, even names like NHPC, which is looking very, very positive at current levels. I think any dips would be a good opportunity to go long in these ideas. Over a period of next 2-3 months, we expect this stock to deliver somewhere around 10 to 15% returns from current levels. My preferred pick would be REC and NHPC. REC, I think stock has a potential to test 160, 165 kind of levels in days to come. Around 142, it's a good opportunity to go long in the on the stock. On downside, 135 should be kept as a trading stop loss. As far as NHPC is concerned, it's a multi-year breakout above 2970. So once that happens, I think this stock has a potential to test its previous all-time high, which is around 34, 35 levels. So the NHPC, I think one can expect 15 to 20% kind of upside from current levels. On downside, 2750 should be kept as a trading stop loss for going long in the idea.
Sameet, what do you do with Vedanta and even HCC? Both these companies have made new 52-week highs. Do you have a view on any of these?
See, clearly Vedanta has been outperforming since last many months now. The stock has given a V-shaped recovery from the lows of 60, 62. It's trading around 260, 265 now. And the trend seems to be very strong. If we look at weekly chart, monthly chart, it has been maintaining its high top, high bottom formation. So the stock has a potential to move higher, and it can retest its highs of 285, 290 quite soon. So we would maintain our optimistic stance, and any dip in Vedanta probably towards 255, 250 would be a very good buying opportunity. As I said, the stock has a potential to move towards 280 to 285.
Vijay, what's your view on ICICI Bank? It's going to come out with its earnings, and after Axis Bank's earnings, people are a little worried about what private banks will throw up. What's your expectation?
Well, I think there is going to there are going to be some kind of NPAs which the company is going to declare, and probably we're going to see a shock on the price as well, on the stock price as well. But my take is that these banks would come back very sharply. with the entire financial inclusion drive the government has done, demonetization drive, the new accounts opening, and I think that the banking system would settle down in the next few quarters. So there could be a jerk and the stock could slip down to 260 odd levels, but I think that these banks are going to come back very sharply, and let's see what comes for the banks and the budget. So we are very hopeful this time it's going to be a good budget for the financial services on the whole.
Ashish, in terms of some names that are doing well right now, ONGC will declare numbers. It's up 3% ahead of numbers. Do you think markets is factoring in a strong number? What are charts telling you?
Yeah, so it's a very strong buy, looks very positive on the daily, weekly and the monthly charts. And if you look at in terms of data of open interest, clearly in last 2 months we have seen a very strong rollovers in names like ONGC, PFC, most of the public sector undertakings. So I think within that space ONGC has been consolidating between 195 to 204, and now it has given a fresh breakout, so it will attract a lot of short covering at these levels. I think this stock has a potential to target 225 levels in next 3-4 trading sessions. On downside now 200 will act as a very important support for the stock.
Right, Mr. Vijay, tomorrow of course will be the budget, and we'll get a lot of fine prints and questions to a lot of answers that investors are waiting for. Broad expectations, what would you wait for in the budget? Corporate tax, exemption limits, long-term capital gain tax, what is essentially 4 or 5 things that most investors would be looking at?
First thing, I would like the finance minister to put more money in the hands of the common people. So this would propel consumption, which has been hit by demonetization. So I'm expecting a tax break, or maybe the tax base should be increased, the tax rate should be decreased, and more money should stay in the hands of people of India. So this would actually help our country to retain that 7.5% of GDP growth rate which we've been talking about. Secondly, I'm expecting something for the financial services sector and the housing sector. So the housing sector has been into shambles in the last few months, and you have seen that the home sales have been declining very sharply. So I think that something should come on this front. I'm expecting something for the defense as well, but it's a shoestring budget, so let's see how the equations match. I'm also expecting that a lot of infra push should happen, so the infra companies should get a breather for completing their projects. So I'm expecting something there. I'm also expecting something for the railways. So there's a lot of infrastructure development which has to happen around railways, and since this budget would be the first where the railway budget and the union budget would be presented together. So these are a few things I would be watching for very closely.
Right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out time for us this morning. Just before we go, Mr. Chopra, we spoke about a lot of stocks. Any disclosures?
Whatever stocks we talked about, there's no personal holding. Our customers might be having such stocks.
Ashish, for you?
I do not have any personal holding in any of the stocks which we have recommended today.
Sameet, we have already shown your disclosures on the side, but anything else that you want to disclose?
I don't have any personal holdings in the discussed stocks, but our clients might be having positions.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out time for us. Always good to get a perspective. Taking a break, coming back in 2 minutes.